So at this point, for my international students who are just starting to watch, as my students give me a thumbs up, did we just go over the exam? So that was one of the reasons that I did not record the previous about 10 minutes or so, is because we were going over the exam. I don't want that made public. So this is where our new lesson starts. You're creating a new project called User Input. Use Camel Case. The class name can be Tester. So in regards to user input, let's talk about that, okay? Let's say that you have a question, okay, on the AP. User input is not tested. What they'll actually do is they'll say something like this: assume the input code is correct. They'll just do that. User input is not tested. However, I like to go right off the bat and start getting you guys to start using user input, because it just makes our programs run a lot smoother, okay? Now, in terms of the user input, we use something called a scanner object. Let me repeat that, a scanner object. A scanner object is a class that is built into Java. Now, when they created Java, they built all these tools that you can use, all these pre-built things. For example, the methods in the string class, right? We have .length, .compareTo, all of these methods that we can use. But because they're so small and because you use strings so often, it's already built into our default class. But we have other methods that we can use. But because they take up a little bit more space, what Java does is they install them on your computer, but they don't load them right into your program due to size. And now it wouldn't be a problem, but just to keep things status quo, they just leave it as is. And what we're going to do is, in order to use the scanner class, we have to import it. So above class, if you don't have package, you're okay. If you have package, this is going to go between package and class. We're going to say import java.util, which is basically short for your utilities folder. And we're going to say scanner.scanner. You'll notice it goes, this is called the scanner class. The scanner class is a user input class with a bunch of methods that allows us to take user input, okay? Now, this is how we just do it if we just wanted a scanner class by itself. This is the way that we would have done it in the early 90s, late 80s. Now memory is not an issue. I can put an asterisk there. An asterisk basically means put everything in the utilities folder. Not a problem anymore. Definitely not a problem. So import java.util.asterisk, we're golden. Okay? Now, you should still know how to do it if you just wanted this, to keep your program small in size. But because we don't care, we can do the asterisk. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. So inside our main method, we have to create an object that is responsible for collecting all of the responses. And this is called our scanner. Now, on a quiz, for example, like your quiz tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to create a scanner object. You're going to have to give me everything, including the import. On a test, you will not give me the imports. Let me repeat that. You will not give me the imports. I will mark you off if you give me the imports. Is that understood? Okay, so the way we create our scanner object is the way we create any object in Java. I start off with the name of the object, or the name of the class that I want to create an object out of. In this instance, it's the scanner class. And I'm just going to call this one KB. What do you think KB is short for? Keyboard. You can call it anything. I can say keyboard, I can say words, I can say like INP for input. I can do anything, okay? So scanner, I'm just gonna say KB equals new scanner system.in. Okay? Scanner KB equals new scanner system.in. All right? Now, what you are doing now is you've created a scanner object, the name of the class, the name of the object that is going to be a clone of scanner, and this right side, you won't need to know just yet. You will in a month, but this is called the constructor. You will know what each one of these things are. For right now, you gotta trust me and just take it as is. Now, string is a class, right? String is a special class though. How many of you guys viewed the PowerPoint that I sent you with all the methods? If you notice, string word equals, you can do this, Marty. String is one of these special things where, because we use it so much, they've allowed some modifications to it. But I could also do this, word one equals new string. How many of you noticed that on the PowerPoint, that that's the way the string was created? 9 times out of 10, when you create an object, you're going to create it this way. The only one that has a special exception is the string. Now, as you notice, this is legal. The name of the class, the object name, the constructor. Name of the class, object name, the constructor. Make sense? This is for, now obviously parameters will be different. Parameters will be completely different, you know, obviously. But for right now, as you can see, this is system.in, this is a literal. So that's why I said don't worry about this side just yet. Know that this part is called the constructor. We will get to that soon. Now that we've done that, just like the string class, if I say kb dot, I have all these methods that I can use. Now, there's 40 in here. You need to know 4. Okay? And they're very simple. So we're going to start off right off the bat with integers. Let's say I ask, what is your name? What type, ISIS, easy question. What type of variable is probably the appropriate variable to store a name in?
A string.
Nope. For your age, or I'm sorry, not your name. Sorry, my fault. You're right. Let me, age.
An int.
You were right on the name. You were right on the name. For age, though.
An int.
An int. Why? How often do you say, I'm 16.7?
Never.
Never, exactly. So we're going to say int age. So we create our variable first. And what we do is we say KB, or whatever you decide to name your object. I named mine KB. KB dot next int. So if we read from the top down, I've created my object line 8. Line 11 asks, what is your age? Nothing fancy, it's just a print statement. It's got no tie to the scanner. So remember that, there's no ties to it, it's just a print statement. Int age equals kb.nextInt runs. What this method does is it pauses the computer and waits for you to set up everything, or to put in a number. Once you put in that number and you hit the enter key, it gets stored in age. So if I run this, what is your age? I click in the console. You'll see your cursor flash. I hit 28, I hit enter. And you have now done that. Or you've now done the, what's it called? You've now done user input into an integer variable, okay? Now, I can also concatenate it. Oops, sorry. Okay. Hold on a second, wow. You are plus age plus years old. So if I say this, what is your age? And I say 28. Wow, you are 28 years old. When you guys are interacting with a program, et cetera, this is basically it, okay? That's like whenever you see a program where you're writing in a program, you type in your name and it spits back, oh, hello, Vasily. It's basically taken it and stored your name into a variable and concatenated it. Now, this is integers. Allie, Okay, I'm gonna say, what was your test score? Generally, a test score is a percentage, right? Right, Allie?
Yes.
So what would be a good variable name and what type?
Score and the type is double.
So we would put double score. Now, Ashton, if kb.nextInt was for integers, what do you think doubles is?
Oh, for fractions?
Huh?
Fractions?
No, somebody, okay.
Oh, for
pay
that's for
attention.
percentages.
Huh?
Percentages?
Nope. So Armon, if kb.nextInt handled integers, what do you think handles doubles?
Oh, my fault.
Wait, what?
Oh my God. Kennedy,
Next double.
thank you. Yes. kb.next double. Okay? And then I can say something like this. Wow. And then I can say score is a great score. So I'm going to say 28, 98.6. Wow, 98.6 is a great score. Yay, all right. So we have nextInt that handles integers. We have nextDouble that handles doubles. Words. Okay, let's this out. What is your first name? Okay, now, interesting one. So Kennedy, we were with you last. So Kennedy, okay, string name. We have nextInt that handles double, or integers. We have nextDouble that handles doubles. What do you think handles words?
Dot next string.
You would assume that. It's a very proper assumption. You would assume that it's next string, but in actuality, kb.next. Now it's important to understand this, okay? kb.next, and I'll say, hello. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna say, all right, what is your age? 28, 98.6. Hobby. Hello, hobby. Simple, works well, right? So this handles integers. This handles doubles. And this handles one-word strings. And this is why this is important. Let's say I change this to what is your full name, and then right after it, I asked, where do you live? Take a look what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna say 28, 98.6. What is your full name? Where do you live? I can't type anything anymore. Technically, my program has crashed. String with .next, it freaks out, completely freaks out when it encounters a space, and it stops the program. Okay, so in order to combat this, I'm gonna just cut this for a second. One-word answers work with .next. Full word answers go .next line. So if I say, okay, so I gotta do this differently. So, okay, what is your full name? Okay, panicked. All right, so let me explain it. So next line, that's right. Why did Java change? Okay, so next handles one-word answers, and let me do this. Okay, where do you live? Okay, in order to ask where someone, or like a full-on question, we use next line. Okay, now here's the problem. It's an anomaly in Java. Okay, you can go from int and double to string or to next. You can go from next to next double, next int, next double to next int to next. Any of the first three you can go to a combination to. But when you go to next line using the same scanner, so in this instance KB, it screws up. It's an anomaly, as you can see in Java, that is still not fixed. So what a lot of people do is if they know that they're going to be asking questions that require multi-word answers, for example, an address or a full name, they create a second scanner. I'm just going to call this KB1. Some people do one that's called words and one called sentences, okay? So I'm going to say, what is your name? And then I'm going to say, where do you live? I'm going to say KB1.next line. If you ever use next line, it's always good to have its own scanner. And then I can say sysout, wow. And I can say Addy is a cool place. So now if I run this, what is your age? 28. Okay, what is your test score? 67. Okay, what is your name? Javi. Where do you live? Santa Monica. Wow, Santa Monica is a cool place. And you can keep going. The anomaly, again, is that you can't go from next int, next double, or next to next line. You cannot. Now, you can go from next int and next double to next line, but that's it. You can't go from next to next line. Okay, but most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're going to create that second scanner that is going to handle it. So we have next int, which handles integers. We have next double that handles doubles. We have next that handles one-word strings, and next line handles multi-word strings. Okay? Now these are the 4 user inputs. Now when we get into loops, there's another scanner method that we're going to use in order to read keyboard like input and stuff like that. We don't have to worry about that now. These are the 4 that are going to get us going. So to review what we've learned today, in order to use the scanner class, you have to import it. You create your scanner object. Once you've created your scanner object, and again, you can name it whatever you want, we have .nextInt handles integers, .nextDouble handles doubles, next handles one-word strings, and next line handles sentences. If you're going to do sentences, your best bet is to create another scanner so that it takes care of all the multi-word answers. Because if you do that, it'll never crash. Okay?
If you use, for your import, if you use the asterisk instead of scanner, does that change your, like when you do scanner KB equals new scanner? Or can you
No,
use,
it stays the same. So for example, good question. So for example, if you take a look, if I change this to asterisk, all this asterisk means now, Kennedy, is there's a lot more other classes in the utilities folder. I haven't created objects out of them, but if I need to, I can. Whereas when I just have it as scanner, I can only do this class. Because there's about 75 other classes in this utility folder. Here I'm doing one, and in the 80s and 90s, this would have been the way to do it because of memory. But now if I do this, it doesn't slow us down at all. It doesn't do anything. But that doesn't change the way that the constructor's created.
Mr. Marty?
Yeah.
So what does the scanner line actually do?
You're creating an object. So you know when you do string?
Mm-hmm.
So string name equals new string or whatever. This is technically what's going on in the background, okay?
Yeah.
This is technically what's going on, all right? String name one, okay? So this is technically what's going on in the background, all right? You've got the class, you've made a clone out of it called name1. And what new string is technically doing is putting all the methods into name1 so that you can use it. You gotta look at it this way, Nick, it's a form of protection. Let's say I actually use the string class built into Java and I mess up, I could completely screw up my entire Java library. So rather than giving you access, we'll let you make a copy of it. That way, if you screw up the copy, you can just delete it.
Mhm.
Scanner is the same thing. You're just making it. You have access now to it so that you can make a clone out of it. We're not going to let you use the original. You can throw everything in, but if you mess up, you can just delete it.
Mhm.
So always look at it that way. You're creating a clone as a form of protection for the original.
Okay.
Okay, so that is it, guys. A good class today. I know it's a little tough learning user input and stuff like that, but we're getting the building blocks out of the way so that we can go on and actually start creating better programs and stuff like that, okay? So, anybody have any questions?
Homework.
The homework is already online. Your homework is, why doesn't the filter stay? So your homework is to read chapter 7, and there's 2 projects. One you can't do yet because we haven't gone over the math methods. We'll probably do that tomorrow, okay? But it's project What's My Name, the Cosmo Kramer one, okay? Just simple, just teaching you guys how to concatenate with the strings after you absorbed user input, okay? Now, test is over with. Good job. Your next test, I will assume, is probably going to be, I think it's safe to assume your next test around the 23rd to the 24th, okay? We'll probably, we'll cover a lot. We're gonna go over user input, math, wrapper classes. Actually, maybe even the 21st. 21st probably, 21st to 22nd around that time. We have a day off, right? Don't we have Rosh Hashanah off for one of those days? Or a long weekend for one of those? Yom Kippur on the 28th. 3 weeks of material is gonna be too much to cram into one test. So figure about the 21st or 22nd, okay guys? All right, that's gonna be your next test, and that's gonna be heavy user input, a lot more methodology, a ton more. You saw, now, oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you guys, you know the multiple choice questions? How many of you felt you did well with those? So believe it or not, 2 through 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were actual former AP questions. So if you got those right, feel good, because that means you got the AP level questions ready. Now, were they the easy AP level questions? The ones that are like, generally the first 10 are the easiest questions. They're one of the first 10. Regardless, you got AP questions right. And I'm always gonna throw in AP questions on every exam. So if you got all of those right, kudos to you. If you didn't and you made a little hiccup, that's fine, okay? All right, guys, good class. I will see all of you later. Your homework will probably go online in about 10 minutes, okay? It's already up there, but I think based on the timing, it'll be up there in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and again, don't just copy and paste everything, including your imports for the homework, into the submission box. Do not put it on a document and upload.
Okay.
All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.